Cassandra Bell had spent the last 12 years cleaning the grand hallways of Ashbourne Estate, owned by the wealthy, arrogant businessman Marcus Vexley. Every morning, before the city stirred awake, Cassandra's calloused hands would scrub marble floors, polish crystal chandeliers, and wipe down the gold leaf-framed mirrors in the mansion's endless rooms. She never complained. She kept her head down, did her job with quiet grace, and vanished into the background just the way people like Marcus preferred. Marcus, known more for his parties than his business acumen, was throwing his annual Winter Gold Gala, a lavish affair for the elite, filled with champagne fountains, ice sculptures, and a strictly enforced dress code of designer couture. It was an event where even whispers had diamonds and glances cost reputations. A few days before the party, Marcus sat in his office with his inner circle, spoiled heirs, influencers, and a few trust fund brats. Laughing about how predictable their guest list had become, Marcus suddenly had an idea. What if we shook things up, he sneered. Let's send an invite to someone completely out of place. Someone like he looked around until his gaze settled on Cassandra, quietly dusting the shelves. Her. They all burst out laughing. You want to invite the cleaning lady? One of them gasped. Exactly, Marcus smirked. Let's see if she actually shows up. It'll be hilarious. He walked up to Cassandra with a fake smile. Cassandra, you've worked so hard. As a token of appreciation, I'd like to invite you to the Winter Gold Gala. Cassandra blinked, stunned. Me, sir? Yes, he said smoothly. Come dressed in your best. It'll be unforgettable. She felt a dozen eyes watching her, laughing quietly behind wine glasses and manicured hands. She knew it was a joke, a setup, a cruel game, but she simply nodded and replied, Thank you, sir. I'll be there. As she walked away, she heard one of the girls whisper, Imagine her showing up in that Walmart dress she wears on Sundays. They all laughed harder. But what they didn't know was that Cassandra Bell had a past they couldn't imagine. Before life handed her a mop and bucket, she had worn gowns that cost more than their cars. She had once been the daughter of a diplomat educated in Paris, fluent in 4 languages, and trained in etiquette and elegance. Life had knocked her down, but it hadn't erased her soul. That night, she went home and opened the old wooden chest she hadn't touched in years. Inside lay a silk gown, midnight blue, hand-stitched in Milan. She ran her fingers over it and smiled. If they want a show, she whispered to herself, I'll give them one they'll never forget. The night of the Winter Gold Gala had finally arrived. The estate glowed under cascading fairy lights, with limousines pulling up one by one. Men in tailored tuxedos and women in glittering gowns stepped onto the red carpet, flashing their diamonds and egos. Inside, Marcus Vexley was the king of his court, sipping champagne with a smug grin. His eyes flicked toward the entrance every few minutes, expecting laughter when Cassandra entered. He imagined her in something outdated and cheap, something to entertain the guests for the night. But at 8:03 p.m., silence fell. The crowd turned toward the grand entrance as Cassandra Bell walked in. She wore a silk midnight blue gown that shimmered like water under moonlight. Her natural hair was styled into an elegant crown, and her posture was regal. Her presence was magnetic. Everyone moved aside as she entered, not because of pity, but because of awe. Marcus nearly choked on his drink. Whispers began circulating. Who is that woman? She looks like royalty. Cassandra didn't flinch. She walked with grace, poise, and a small knowing smile. Every step echoed with confidence. She walked past the very people who had laughed at her, some now unsure if they had misjudged her status. She approached Marcus, who stood dumbfounded. Thank you for inviting me, she said calmly. This is a beautiful evening. The smugness drained from his face. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. She moved away, and just like that, the room followed her. The guests were buzzing. Is she a duchess? An investor? No one invited someone like her without a reason. Cassandra floated through the room, greeting waiters by name, exchanging nods with old estate staff, and catching the attention of CEOs and diplomats alike. Many of the guests had no idea she was the cleaning lady they had ignored for years. An old woman approached her, dressed in pearls and wisdom. My dear, you carry yourself like someone who's seen the world. Cassandra smiled. I've seen enough to know how quickly it can change. In a corner, Marcus listened, boiling with frustration. The joke had backfired. Worse, she was becoming the center of attention. His cousin leaned in and whispered, "If you told me that woman was the maid, I'd say you've lost your mind." He hadn't, but he was losing control. Marcus couldn't stand it any longer. He stormed to the bar, knocking back a double scotch while guests buzzed about Cassandra. No one was paying attention to him. His plan to humiliate her had turned her into a queen in their eyes. Meanwhile, Cassandra walked confidently to the charity auction stage, where elite guests were bidding for expensive paintings and artifacts. She had overheard a piece donated by the Vexley Foundation had received low bids. It was a forgotten sculpture by a Haitian artist. Quietly, she requested to bid. "I'll offer 50,000, she said. Gasps. Heads turned. Some laughed nervously. Marcus scoffed. "Do you even have 50,000? Cassandra didn't flinch. She reached into her elegant clutch and handed the auctioneer a pre-written check. Verified. Confirmed. Applause. Marcus turned pale. "I inherited a few things from my late father," she said, loud enough for the room to hear. "He was an ambassador. Art was our world." Some jaws dropped, Marcus's included, and then came the whispers, "She's someone." Later that evening, one of the guests recognized her. Cassandra Bell? The same Cassandra who used to attend UN galas in Geneva? A hush fell again. "Yes," she nodded softly. "That was before my family's assets were frozen during a coup. We lost everything overnight. I stayed behind to care for my mother and ended up here." She nodded again, but her eyes showed no shame. "I took a job that allowed me to survive with dignity." The room, once full of mockery, now brimmed with admiration. The irony wasn't lost on Marcus. The woman he'd mocked had a legacy longer than his trust fund. "You could have left," someone said. "I did," she replied. "Tonight." Marcus finally approached her again, his smirk gone, replaced with regret. "Cassandra," he began. I owe you an apology. I didn't mean—" "Yes, you did," she interrupted gently. "But thank you for the invite. It reminded me of who I used to be and who I still am." He stood in silence. "And next time you try to make a joke out of someone," she added, "make sure they don't have a richer past than your future." He had no comeback. As the clock struck midnight, Cassandra walked down the red carpet once more. Cameras flashed, phones recorded. But this time, it wasn't mockery, it was admiration. Guests whispered her name, asked for her story, and watched as the woman they thought was just a maid exited like a legend. She didn't look back. She didn't need to. The joke was never on her. It was on them.